And joining me now is one of the Conservative candidates in the Broadway board, Chris Spender. Hello, Chris.
Good afternoon, Andrew.
Thank you for coming in. Why should the Broadway residents choose you on the 4th of May?
Well, I'm hoping to persuade the Broadway residents. I'm 56 years of age this year, moved to Warminster when I was 20. From big towns, I've lived all along the seaside, moved to Warminster. So I've lived here the biggest part of my life, basically. I've had 2 children, seen them go to school, through secondary school, and obviously into jobs in there. So I've seen a lot of changes over all the years, and I've seen the ups and I've seen the downs. 20 odd years ago, I was unemployed for 2 years. I was lucky enough to get a local job as it stipulates in the pamphlets that are out there, Junction 18. So I've worked there for 22 years. I love Warminster. I think it is an absolutely superb market town. Obviously when I first came here, it was smaller. It's growing on it. There was a lot more companies working or running from here in the past. I've seen those drop, but I've seen them grow again. And I think it's a thriving market town. I've had a lot from the town, and it's now my turn to try and give something back to the town. So I love listening to what the people want. I can't promise everything that the people want, because obviously they all want different things. But I feel as a town councillor, I'd like to possibly be their voice inside the town council, rather than just stand back and moan and not try and do anything about it. I really am passionate about giving something back to the town, and obviously the Conservatives have done masses for the town over the years that I've actually been here, which is why I've decided to stand as a candidate and try and give a lot back. Broadway, particularly, I've always lived in the Broadway area. I'm actually a candidate that actually I live at West Parade, I've lived at St Andrews Road, I've lived at Shelley Way, so I know the area, and I'm really keen and passionate about putting something back into the town. And my way of doing it possibly is by my voice, and then trying to persuade and have an influence possibly on some of the decisions that are made, or what the residents, not just Broadway, the whole of Warminster wants. Broadway just happens to be an area within the town. I think as a candidate, you've got to represent the town, and that's what I'm hoping to do.
And what do you feel some of those issues are that the residents are concerned about at the moment?
We've got a lot of the people in Warminster. There's a lot of youngsters now growing up, but there's also a lot of people that are elderly. Obviously, a lot of the people that have been in the army have now retired in Warminster. They find it as their final settling place. So we've got to be looking after the elderly, as well as really concentrating on the younger generation of Warminster, because they are our future. I'm 56. What have I got left? 30 years on it. But
quite a long time, I hope.
Yeah. But so we've got to look to the future as well as look after our past. And we do have a lot of elderly in here. We have the elderly home just across the road from the studios here. We need to be keeping an eye on them, trying to fight for the facilities that they require to make it more friendly for the disabled, more for the elderly, as well as trying to do it for the young as well, making sure that we can try and get the facilities for them so they've got something really to do in town, rather than, you used to years ago, say 10 years ago, used to see a lot of them hanging around in groups. By some of the activities that are going on, we're discouraging them from that. So we're actually getting them into things, and that's what I think we've got to concentrate as a town council to try and bring back to the community.
And the funding for youth services is being cut, isn't it? So do you worry that some of the things that they're doing now they may not be able to do?
It is being cut, but I don't think that's just in Warminster. I think that's totally across the country. As again it says in the pamphlet from me, I'm the warehouse manager at Junction 18 up on the Warminster Business Park there. We're an interior design and giftware company which import things which are ideal for fundraising. And over the 20 years that I've been there, the company Junction 18 has given away many hundreds of thousands of pounds to help raise funds. And I think if we can't get it from a central fund, unfortunately, we have to fundraise. And I'm very, very passionate in fundraising to fund these things that we need. We also fund, raise money for the schools. Again, it says in the Warminster Journal about the military side of it. Both, as I said earlier, both my children grew up in Warminster. My daughter, who's now 33, back in 2011, she had a serious car accident. She was training to be a nurse, broke her back. Lucky enough, it's not to the paralysis stage that's on that side of it. She still continued to train to become a nurse, and she actually works at Bath Hospital. So it's part of, I know it's Avon and Somerset, but it's still part of people from Warminster
Lots
getting
of people
taken
go
to
there.
Bath or to Salisbury. In the August that year, my son has been serving in the army for 16 years. Unfortunately trod on an IED out in Afghanistan and lost both of his legs. Warminster at that time, when I was at cracking point, got behind me. You get that in a smaller town. I came from Bournemouth before here. People don't even talk to people in Bournemouth now. You don't know your neighbours. In Warminster, you know your neighbours, you know your people, you know the residents, and that's what I want to try and represent. The town helped me. Let me try and give something back to the town.
And how do you feel that Warminster can keep that sort of community atmosphere as it becomes bigger? Because we are getting a lot of new houses.
We are getting talking obviously about a lot of new houses, but it's that town mentality. We are still Warminster, the market town. Fingers crossed that we never ever get to the stage that we become a city, because that's not what Warminster is, and I can't foresee Warminster getting to that. But we've got to keep that community spirit, and it's by your town councillors listening to the residents and trying to fight or put as much forward as they can for the residents, and we've got to fight for that. We've got to continue fighting for that, Andrew.
And talking a little bit about business, you come from a business background out on the business park. What do you feel the status is of business in and around Warminster? Because certainly in the centre of Warminster we still have a lot of empty properties.
We do still have lots of empty properties, and you've got your smaller retailers, which we've got to keep your smaller retailers. It'd be nice to see some other ones coming. Unfortunately, we have to go to Bath or Salisbury or Bristol to buy menswear, and it'd be nice that we have a menswear shop and bits like that in it. But we also need places like the Junction 18, the Travis Perkins, the NH cases, and all the people like that EMW that's up there, because they give employment. Once people go out of the town, I think, to work, that's when you lose your community spirit. And what we've got to try and do is encourage the businesses to come in. We've got many trading estates around. We've got the Sutton Venie one, we've got the Woodcock one, we've got the Copheap one, we've got the Warminster Business Park, we've got the Crusader Park. Look at the jobs it's actually creating in Warminster. But it's also keeping those people in Warminster, and those people are all part of the community of Warminster, and that's what we need to retain. Once people go outside the town, take myself for instance, came from Bournemouth, settled in Warminster. So if someone goes from Warminster and goes to Bath or to Bristol, because of the commuting on that side of it, they tend to move that way, and that's when I think you lose your community spirit, and we've got to keep that community spirit within Warminster.
Okay, we're running out of time, but one question that I'm asking everybody who comes in last week and this week is, if you're elected on the 4th of May, with the count on the 5th of May, what is one thing, if you could pick it, that you'd like to achieve in your 4 years? I think I might know the
I'd like
answer.
to achieve, to prove that I can actually represent the people of Warminster. I'm not frightened to voice what the people want to, what the people want on it. I'm not one of these that will make up. I cannot promise that I'm going to change the whole of Warminster, but I feel that it's better to have a voice on the inside than no voice at all. And I promise that I will represent not just Broadway, the whole of Warminster, 200% with my heart, and that's what I'll do.
Okay, thank you very much for coming in, Chris, and good luck on the 4th of May.
Results on the 5th.
Yes.
Thank you, Andrew.
You.
Thank you very much.